Ms. Cammack, who is joining us remotely, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to Ranking Member Style for hosting this hearing here today. Thank you also to our witnesses for appearing before the committee, and I do hope we get a second round because there is no shortage of discussion to have on this. So for me personally, if I had to sum it up, I would love to see government work themselves out of business when it comes to so many of these issues. But I think we'll just get right into the heart of it. Right now, our country is entering a completely avoidable recession. Again, this recession was completely avoidable. It was not inevitable, as some of my colleagues across the aisle in this administration would want Americans to believe. But at least they're done gaslighting Americans who believe that we're not in a recession. I think the numbers speak volumes that came out today about a second quarter of consecutive downturn. But you look at last year, the nation was getting back to normal. Americans were getting back to work, but folks on the other side of the aisle just couldn't let well enough alone, and instead jammed through a massive partisan spending package in the name of COVID relief. It was a flimsy excuse for what was really a grab bag of big government spending that swamped our nation's recovering economy. Now, this package passed on strictly partisan lines, of course, with Democrats using budget reconciliation to bypass the 60-vote threshold necessary to get this monstrosity of a package through the Senate. The majority in the administration might pretend that they were caught flat-footed by the consequences of what they did here, and they can blame it on Russia or China or Trump or the supply chain, but they knew what they were doing, and they were warned. We were all warned by what the results could potentially be by pulling the ripcord on government spending at this size. Even former Obama administration officials warned of the economic consequences of injecting trillions of dollars into the economy. Nonetheless, Democrats moved forward with the proposal, and Democrats passed, ironically named the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act. Now, ordinary Americans are now reaping what the Democrats have sowed last year with sky-high prices, historic inflation, and an economy on the downslide. So where exactly did that $1.9 trillion go? Here's what we know. It flooded the state and local governments with $350 billion with a B, leaving serious oversight concerns on how this money is being spent, where it's going, and what is the accountability on this. And enhanced unemployment benefits to keep Americans dependent and discouraged people from returning to work. I know this from speaking to hundreds of employers, not just in my district, but across the state of Florida and the country. It also included a union boss-backed $570 million giveaway to keep teachers at home, schools closed, and abandoning America's children. And how much of that money actually went to COVID relief? 9%. 9%, while simultaneously garnishing the wages of my generation, my children, and my grandchildren. Now, at the time of passage, the federal government had an estimated $1 trillion already available to the administration for COVID relief. Now, did anyone make any effort to repurpose money that was already on the table? No, absolutely not. Of course not. Why get in the way of a raft of ruinous new spending? All in all, that one bill added $14,000 per household to our national debt. A national debt, which, by the way, is unsustainable. Now, fast forward to just months after passage of the American Rescue Plan, and everything that has been warned about has now happened. The inflation rate has steadily gone up. We've all seen the memes. It's not really funny when you earn a fixed income and you're trying to figure out if you're going to buy gas or groceries. Now, with the announcement today that we are in fact in a recession, and there is no debating that, regardless of how the majority, the administration, or their lackeys in the media will attempt to gaslight and confuse Americans into believing otherwise, people in the real world, we know what's up. But instead of waking up to the sobering realities of inflation, economic stagnation, and the costs that are squeezing everyday Americans at the pump, the store, and everywhere else, Democrats have doubled down on their tax and spend agenda and have brought back the Build Back Broke bill. It's back from the dead. So on any given day, I'll place my bets on the ability of the individual to really make the best decisions rather than be burdened with more government spending that is unsustainable. And I know my time has expired, but Mr. Chairman, I hope we get a second round because there are a lot of questions that I have for the witnesses here today, but I felt it important to make the statement that more spending and making more Americans dependent on big government is not empowering. We need to get back to the basics and unleash American prosperity. With that, I yield back.